Yo, you're listening to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua, and thank you for listening. But once again, we're here. Please, if you like the show, like it, review it, share it. And on today's episode, we talk about current state of the government, Amazon moving in and moving out of New York. So Far Gone just dropped. And we still are on this topic about finding out who you are. But anyways, please check out the website. We have our reading list up. So check those out and just check out the website just in general. Moreaboutsomethingelse.com. But let's begin the show.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show, maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud, and for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying, so open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
For thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
Yeah, if people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peace like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait.
Yo, you're listening to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua. And, I just want to say thank you to any and everybody that's been rocking with this show. Yo, if you like the show, like it, review it, share it. You can do one, we can do all three. Either way, I appreciate it. But anyways, we're here. And, I like to start out the show like this. Imagine 10, 20 years ago, where you could be, right? We look at Netflix and Amazon and we see how they have gained momentum and how they're taking over. So recently, Amazon is moving out. They're not going to New York. These cities, they bid on these corporations to come into their city and pretty much take over. And, Amazon going to New York, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, right? Because I don't know if you understand what's going on as far as like gentrification. And if you don't know what gentrification is, I encourage you to look it up and define it in your own terms. But to me, it means kicking people out. People that have been there, people that own land and undercutting them and underselling them because people may not know the value of that area or how much they're really worth as far as the land and the housing. They increase the rates of the rent and the mortgages and everything, and they really just mess up the city. One thing that was for sure is that they moved out was because of local officials and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, somebody that I have grown to like because she speaks for the people, and it's very interesting because they're pulling out and they're saying, well, we promised 25,000 jobs. That's cool. 25,000 jobs is a lot. But how much of that is really going to the people and not to the people who are going to move there? Like, that's the one thing that we don't really talk about. And this was going to take, I believe it was going to take 15 years, to be complete and for Amazon's second quarter to be there. And just to look at the effects of what a major corporation can do in the city, look at Seattle. It's expensive to live in Seattle. Cost of living went up dramatically. Look at Google and where they are. Cost of living went up. And you push people out of these housings and you're forcing them to go somewhere else. And that's just something that I just don't understand. Because if you think about it, I think Apple has done it the right way. They have built their own city, you know? Like it just makes a little bit more sense. But it just bothers me because this is not the first time we're talking about it. And we don't think about gentrification because it doesn't really affect you until it actually affects you, right? I think it just sucks that we're here and we're living and we're breathing and people are getting pushed out of their houses and forced to go other places, all for the greater good of money. And, Amazon can say it's harmless, we're going to provide jobs, but it's not guaranteed. Like these cities and these states, they're so strung up on having these corporations in their cities and in their states so that essentially driving traffic into the area. And as cool as that sounds, is that it almost seems like the city is begging them to come and create a system for them because they are not capable of creating that system. I get it, we need new jobs, right? But if we create an infrastructure, then I feel like things will get a lot smoother. But that's all I'm going to say about that. They backed out. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. I was going to touch up on this subject as far as like Colin Kaepernick on More About Sports. It really speaks to me because I just don't understand anymore. You know, I don't understand because at first I didn't understand Colin for kneeling. Then I understood. Then I didn't understand. And to see other people's message about how it's racist and how he's not playing, look, people don't understand sports, okay? So let me break this down. There's one reason why Colin wasn't playing, despite the collusion, okay? Colin is a starter. To change the system to how Colin plays, there's only one, maybe two teams that can do that. And to try and pick him up as a backup quarterback doesn't make sense because of how much attention it will be and how much more pressure it will be on the actual starting quarterback. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about. So he wins his lawsuit and he earns money. But the question now is what is the money for? And what were we boycotting for? Because I just don't understand anymore. A lot of people are saying Kaepernick is a sellout. A lot of people are saying, good, now he can play in the NFL. But for me, what I don't understand is what is the reason of playing in the NFL right now? You won, support your cause if that was truly your cause, and keep it moving. Now, I understand if he still wants to play football. I really do. But I'm not about to dance for nobody. I just don't understand. I'm glad he won. But I also have questions. I don't understand what people were boycotting for. I think it's safe to say that we all had some type of ill will feelings towards the NFL, which is good because when it came down to it, nobody really supported Colin, despite his message, because they didn't want to bring the flag into it. But it just doesn't make sense to me. And that's just what I'm trying to figure out. What was the whole purpose of this? Are we so mad at the NFL? Like, I love watching football, but I don't know. I really don't. And I feel like this could have went a better way. But I'm glad he won his money. Things that bother me this week. Scrolling through social media is one thing. And I see that people put whatever on social media, and that's cool. Sometimes I wild out, and I'm fine with that. But one thing that I'll never do is cry and beg for somebody's support. One thing that I don't think makes sense to me is to fuel my rage and the lack of support for people to try and make it. Because if that's what's your fuel to keep going, then you're going to burn out really fast. People are always crying about support. And my whole thing is just do your best work, that the support will come. Yes, people will come when you start making it. What people fail to realize is that your vision is very different. It's very unique. And if you don't know how to deliver your vision, then nobody will understand you. And until you refine your vision and make it understandable to the world, then shut up. Stop crying about support and do better. The other thing that really just bothered me this week is that people love to bring you down. They just love to bring you down. They love to make you feel guilty. And that sucks. Because you would figure that, even if it's as close as family, that they want the best for you, you know? And it made me realize that some people are joyful about stuff like this. It makes them feel good. Like, I'll never want to tear somebody down just because it makes me feel good. And that's just when you're talking to people, you know? Generally. Trying to minimize their progress. I heard your little podcast. Why is my podcast little? It just doesn't make sense to me to have those people around me. And I've tried to move away from that, all that type of negativity. If you're in my life and you're not in my life anymore, just know this is the reason. The last thing that bothered me this week. I've been in the gym. I work hard. I work hard for my gains. Once again, don't minimize what I've done. Don't minimize my progress. Because I've been working out for 7 years. 7 years. And I feel like things have gotten better for me. Overall, I mean, I think that if you see my progress from 2011 and 2019, barely is a big difference. Don't minimize my progress. Don't make any excuses. And that's just the thing. Because if somebody was to sit there and be like, yo, what you're doing is cool, but I don't know, I just don't rock with it. I don't know. It bothers me because being a little insecure about it, always being called small, it just bothers me. But don't minimize shit. Keep that negativity away from me. Those are the things that bother me this week. So Drake came out with So Far Gone, re-release on streaming platforms. And to me, I thought that everybody hated Drake, you know? To me, I thought Pusha T was top 5 greatest rappers. To me, I thought Drake was a deadbeat dad. You know? I like that this came out because it's 10 years ago. Imagine, you put in so much work that 10 years ago. Imagine that you put in so much work that in 10 years, your body of work that you released right now ages like wine. Imagine that all your insecurities and all your fears were put into this body of work, and you took a leap of faith, and now you're at the pinnacle of your success. Look at God. I'm only bringing this up because I think it's important. You never know where you could be. Taking that leap of faith, very promising. A lot of people are scared, and that's fine. Be scared. But don't be upset. Don't make excuses. Because when you're aware, you're aware. And I think that's what counts. You know, we talk about trying to do better for ourselves and living our best lives. You know what to do. And that's the thing. You know what to do. So figure that shit out. So in the government, there's a lot of things going on. And one in particular thing that's going on is that we're not going through a shutdown no more. And that's cool. I like that. I like the sound of that, right? It sounds really good that we're not going through a shutdown. But you know, the one thing that is off about that is that however many days, 40 days, right? Essentially, people lost their jobs. And people that lost their jobs, a lot of them still supported the cause of the shutdown. You know, a lot of them had to get second jobs or whatever. And I don't understand because you let somebody come into the office, you let them cast fears upon whatever he was talking about an army of Mexicans are coming and whatever. We're going to build that wall. We're going to keep you safe. America is going to keep you safe. You know what? You know what the problem is? America always talks about trying to care for you and worry for you. We're going to keep you safe. Apparently, America has your best interests, and that's a damn lie. It doesn't. It just doesn't. We're talking about industries where health, for example, high blood pressure is still popping, cancer is still popping. I just don't understand. And they're talking about they have your best interests, right? It's not no conspiracy. But I just don't believe that. We're talking about keeping America safe when America had 300 mass shootings. Majority of them were citizens. A high majority. That's what we're not afraid of. Like you literally never know. The one that hit me the most was the shooting in Las Vegas. Because at first, when it happened, I was like, please don't be a black dude. Please don't be a black dude. 56 people died. And we're talking about we're trying to keep the Mexicans out? Okay. All right. I just don't understand at this point. Because people are still like, we need to build a wall. Imagine that Mexico is what you're worried about. When you should be worrying about the people that stay in this country, yet alone in your city. You never know when something's going to get bombed up, like the Boston Massacre. And that sucks because people don't know no better. I just, at one point, I really felt to believe that people are just stupid. Trump filed for national security emergency, right? $6 to $8 billion allocated to the emergency to fund the wall. And this is him trying to not accept defeat, right? Shout out to Nancy Pelosi. She did her thing for real. I just don't understand. Just recently found out that it's only going to take 160 million. And I know that sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. I've never seen that money before. But $167 million to fix the water in Flint, Michigan. That still has a water crisis. But look, marijuana just got legal in Michigan. So you know their priorities are fucked up. But I don't think anybody cares because it's not a city that's popping, you know? It's not a city that is demanding. How many people are going to fly to Flint, Michigan to live there? Not that many. People that come out of there don't go back. It's the same thing in the South, especially Louisiana. Water issues all over, literally all over the country. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're going to use the money for. And that's what bothers me, you know? I was watching a documentary, it's called Alt Right, and I really like it. It's on Netflix. I really like it because it shows both sides of the spectrum. And I really encourage people to watch it to try and understand. And the one thing that baffled me, it may seem like the country is coming together. It may seem like the country is still divided, but we're living in two different Americas. And that's scary because watching video footage just makes me angry. Like, what can I do at this point? And don't get me wrong, because people don't care. People do not care. And that sucks. Because you would think that as socially conscious as people may seem to be, especially on social media, that things will ramp up and people will actually try to do anything. But that's the thing. Everybody loves to talk. And that sucks. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because the whole country got their priorities fucked up. And here we are right now, literally in limbo. But that's just to say, look, whatever you can do to change society, to help the world out, not the world, the country, because the country needs it, your community, society, whatever you can do. I think it's a call to action, I'm sorry, that everybody needs to step up and everybody needs to get educated. Freedom of speech doesn't mean that your opinion is right. And that's where people fail to realize. It sucks because what can you do, right? And the most interesting thing is that what we're seeing is people who get into office because they want to make a change, not because of the money. People are running for president right now. Just read that Bernie Sanders is running for president, and he needs to give it a rest. He needs to. It's not about voting for Democrat or Republican at this point anymore. A lot of people think that Trump is going to get out of office. I don't know. Because if this wall gets built, that's it. But people who need to run for president, I don't know. We're never going to see another Obama again. It's not about all America at this point. It's about every individual nationality that's here. What are you going to do for us? I'm not voting for you because you're black. Okay? I'm not voting for you because of how you're pandered. I feel like people understand when pandering is going on. And that's what we need to be aware of. A lot of people may think that, yo, my vote doesn't count. Well, you see what happens when your vote doesn't count. We get Trump in office. And the one crazy thing that people were saying is that Trump and Hillary are the same people. Look, I don't like Hillary Clinton, personally, but they're not the same people. Yeah, she got baggage, but who doesn't? Do you think that this wall would have been built if Hillary was president? Do you think that the country would be in the state that is in? Look, Trump was talking about taxes and all this and bringing back companies, and he's only made the 1% richer. And that sucks because we'll never know what he's talking about. We'll never see the money that he said that he was going to bring us. We never saw these companies or anything. It's just the rich get richer. But there you go. There you have it, folks. The current state of the United States. Garbage. But that's just to say, look, we can do better. I think so. I have a heart and I believe that things will get better. But don't pander and do better and fight for what you believe in.
Say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, 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 write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people. And I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show.
If I asked you how your life was going right now, in this moment, how many people will tell the truth? How many people will tell me that things are going well? And this is not to say that everybody's going through shit right now. It's not. But to find out what your definition is, it's very interesting to me. Because self-awareness is everything, first of all. Perception is another thing. And to remove all types of negativity from your mind and from your surroundings is also another thing. And it's scary, It really is scary because you never know where life is going to take you. And we're on this journey, right? And, I've been talking about for the past few episodes to find out who you are. It sucks. It really does suck because you're looking for an answer and you can't find it. You're trying to figure out if you're going the right way. Whether you're spiritual and you follow Christ and you believe in God, you're trying to figure that out. And you're not getting the answer. Whether you believe any other religion and you're trying to figure it out, whether you don't believe in religion and you're trying to figure it out, it's very frustrating, right? And that's my thing. But where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And people say that. It's very cliche to say that. It is. But to overcome is something else. Like, I really feel like if you do your best, then everything will follow. I think I can say that there's a lot of times that I don't do my best and I half-ass. And maybe that's just the arrogance in me because I know I can do it or I know I don't have to put that much effort. And that's not good. And it's not to say that I'm the only one, apparently, because we're all going through it right now. The way your mind works, the way you perceive things, and the way you output into the world, it just doesn't make sense. You're currently going through something right now. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to help yourself? What's going to be better for you? I have there's like certain people that will come to me, right? And they're going through whatever in their life and it's kind of negative. Stay away from me. How am I supposed to handle my mental health? And you're coming to me with all this negativity. And not to say that, it's on purpose, but everybody's going through it. But everybody got to figure out how to deal with it. Whether you need a strong support system of people who have A, gone through it and made it, or B, I don't have a B. I just don't think it's healthy to try and bring other people down because that type of energy around somebody else that's going through something is not healthy. Figure out what you want to do. A lot of people want to help, but can't help themselves. And that's why I say keep any type of negativity away from you because if you can't help yourself, then what are you doing? It's very cliche to say that things are going to get better. That this is what you're supposed to go through. But how many people are going to overcome? Yeah, the seasons change. But that's just it. If you want to do better in life, if you want to get through things, then so be it. You will. But you have to be patient. And you have to listen to yourself. We talked about so far gone in the beginning. And Drake talks about how he goes through all these things and how everybody was in that current state of having fear and not really having anything to their name. And 10 years later, look at everybody, right? You will make it. But it just depends on if you want to or not. If you want to take that leap of faith or not. And I'm not saying this as far as like, your job or whatever. I'm talking about your well-being. Because fear is a motherfucker. And if you let fear take over, it's not good. It's just not good. But anyways, look. If you can, try to do better. Try to do better. 1% is all it takes. For instance, make your bed. You know? It feels different. It really does. Try to make things smooth. Try to make things better for you as far as like your situation. Because I know trying to find a way is hard. But you will find a way. If you want to, at least. Yo, thank you for listening. To all my supporters for supporting the show. Yo, I really do appreciate you wholeheartedly. But, I got to end the show. And I always end the show with words of wisdom. Inaction is a slow death. Fairly simple, right? But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, please like the show, review it, share it. You can do one or you can do all three. But yeah, man, please check out the website. You know how of a proponent I am for reading books. I have a reading list up with the link. Go into Amazon and you can just buy the book right then and there. I've read a lot of books. Currently reading a lot of books right now. And there's a few books on my radar. And I just like it. I think that it's fair enough that people try to exchange books and try to gain a little bit of knowledge. Because I can tell you for sure that for me reading, I just feel a lot better. I feel a lot smarter. And just having a wide variety of books from biography to autobiography to fiction to nonfiction, self help, psychology, just things that I find interesting. And you can check that out. Moreaboutsomethingelse.com. The blogs are up. Check out the website, please. My name is Joshua, and I'm out.